Hey there, good morning everyone and welcome to 2020. I'm a bit late this morning because there's a bar right next to me and they've been emptying the trash for the last 20 minutes. Hopefully it's all over now. It was really loud. So it feels like everybody's back to work today. You know, driving in it was very busy. So I'm looking forward to an exciting year and what it will bring for all of us. So today we're going to start the year out by talking about bloating. Are you bloated even though the holidays are still over? Today I'm going to talk about why you're bloated, and I will follow up with some conversations throughout the week on my social media. I'm going to write a blog post and an email. So if you don't receive my emails and you want to get the notes and you don't have time to watch the whole lot, sign up to digestivedetective.com.au and put yourself on the list and you'll get that hopefully today if I can get my act together. So please join me in the conversation. Facebook loves it when you interact with me. It shows it to many more people that are in my groups and stuff. So please feel free to interact. So for all the new people who don't know me, and who are new to the page, because there's been quite a few over the holidays. I'm Ange Sinclair and I'm the Digestive Detective. So welcome, I'm pleased to have you here. Ask your questions, give your opinions. You certainly don't have to agree with everything I say, but be kind and courteous to everybody else here, and I hope you learn a thing or two while you're here. So let's get to today's topic. Bloating or bloatedness. Bloating really comes down to four things, and they are what we eat, the way we eat, our ability to break down the foods, and dysbiosis, which means imbalanced gut bacteria. So number one, what we eat. So adding fiber to our diet, which I hope everybody's doing, but not increasing it too fast, because if you do it really fast, the bacteria get overfed and then you'll get bloated. So many foods give us bloating. Especially the high sulfur foods. So high sulfur foods get broken down in our large intestines and they produce hydrogen sulfide gas, which is aka the rotten egg gas that we all have known to smell about the place. And this can be caused by too much meat or too much processed oils. Milk fat, hydrogen sulfide bacteria love milk fat. They love diets that are high in these three things, and they will take over in the large bowel if they're able to get the things that they love. Can't speak this morning. Cruciferous vegetables like kale, cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, all those sorts of things, these get broken down in our large intestine. So they pass right through the entire way to our colon, and they are vegetables which are high in oligosaccharides. So in the oligosaccharides themselves, they have a product in them called raffinose. And as humans, we don't have the enzymes to break down raffinose. So by the time they make the whole journey right through, they get fermented essentially, and that helps us. You know, that doesn't help us, but it is one of the things that produces gas and bloating. So this is normally really short-lived though, so depending on how much you eat. So the more often you eat it, the less that should be a problem for you. Number two, the way we eat food. We once sat as a family and said grace even. So this is to get us out of that business, that rushing around and doing things, our fight or flight nervous system, as you will, and back into our rest and digest nervous system. It got us present to the food we're about to eat. Now, and I see this in clinic, we are all in chronic fight or flight, always rushing to get somewhere, rushing our meals, eating standing up, or even worse, eating in the car. When we eat like this, we take in more air and we're not giving our body time to break down the foods. If you're taking in more air, you'll be filled with more gas and you will get bloating just from that. We're also not chewing properly. So we need more enzymes and hydrochloric acid to break down the food particles. What else we do? We also overeat. And when we're in this state, we're not aware of the food that we're putting in our mouth. Have you ever eaten a meal, and I'm totally guilty of this, where you've been reading on your phone or scrolling through your phone and you look down and you finish the whole meal and you don't really even feel like you've eaten it? So be mindful of that. Overeating leads to more fermentation, and the more fermentation there is, the more bloating there will be. So number three, our ability to break down food. Our digestive fire, and I see this in a lot of clients. Our digestive fire is weak, and how do I know this? Because If you had great digestion, you wouldn't get parasites or issues with bloating or other digestive issues like reflux, because your body would be working properly. And basically our digestive fire is one of the things that keeps those pathogens and parasites out, because there's lots of parasites and pathogens and stuff on the food we eat, and this helps kill them on the way through. So if your digestive fire doesn't work, then they tend to be able to take up residence than rather than not. And when I'm treating somebody for parasites or some other digestive problems, we're often working on their digestive fire as well. Some other reasons that our digestive fire is low, diets that are really high in processed food, they lack nutrition, and this reduces our enzyme production. So good quality nutrients are needed to make enzymes, essentially. So stress, whether it's pathological or chronic stress from our day-to-day busy lives, reduces our ability to repair and manufacture our digestive enzymes. So think about that. The other thing to think about is when we are in fight or flight, our body doesn't prioritize digestion. It's shunting blood out to our arms and legs so we can run away, essentially. So as that happens, food will automatically start to ferment in our gut. So think about if you've just had lunch and then you have a stressful meeting straight after lunch where you feel threatened or defensive or not heard. So no digestion will happen after this point. You know, there are many other times throughout the day where this happens as well. You've had breakfast and you're running late trying to get the kids into the car, or you see an accident. Your body is not ready then to be able to accept food. So one of the great things is take a deep breath and get yourself back into your body when that happens. Also, with decreased hydrochloric acid, this affects our digestive enzymes. And one of the things that affects our hydrochloric acid is aging. So as you age, you need to take more precautions to help with your hydrochloric acid production. So our stomach acid, or hydrochloric acid as it's called, activates our digestive enzymes. What it does is activates these digestive enzymes to break the proteins into smaller, teeny tiny proteins. So if you have no or really low hydrochloric acid, you can't make those digestive enzymes. You can't break down those proteins, and then they will sit and ferment in your gut. So you can see how this is a really vicious cycle if you get into it. If you've got no digestive enzymes, low hydrochloric acid, the circle continues. Number 4 is dysbiosis, so aka imbalanced gut bacteria, essentially. And this can cause, things that cause dysbiosis are foods that you're feeding them and stress levels. So diet is the biggest one for me. I often see people not eating enough fiber. And this new stool testing that I'm doing, if you fill out the questionnaire, it actually tells you your percentage of fiber. So I love that. And I've done about 5 or 6 back, and the percentage was really low for a lot of people. So enough fiber would be 28 grams for women, 34 grams of fiber per day for men as a basis. So most people I see, they're eating around 10 to 15 grams a day. And if you see a picture of what 28 grams of fiber looks like, it's a lot. And I know that people aren't eating that sort of quantity in vegetables and stuff. So be mindful of that. Try and get vegetables throughout the day. Also, diets high in processed foods will also increase the imbalance, because we talked about at the start where you can grow the hydrogen sulfide bacteria as a consequence of those processed foods, the fats, the high meat, the high milk, those sorts of things. Prebiotic fibers is something else that most people don't include daily, and so you're not encouraging the good bacteria to grow if you're not eating prebiotic foods every day. One of the other reasons that people have dysbiosis is through a parasite. So if you have tried all these strategies that we've talked about, and you have still have lots of bloating and gas, that's always good to get checked out to make sure that it's not a parasite, that you haven't picked up a parasite. And I often hear people say, well, my doctor said that I couldn't get a parasite in Sydney. That's not true. Well, you can get a parasite anywhere. And I've seen hundreds of people that have never travelled anywhere that have got parasites. So get that checked out if you need to. So I have put together a download and a blog post that hopefully will be published today, if I can get my act together. So you can see what actual steps you can do, and what things that you can apply to your life that will be helpful. So the download's only available on my website. So I will pop a link in today for it, in a post today. And you can then find out what steps you can do, which will help reduce your bloating. So next week, I'm talking about goal setting next Monday, and I'm not talking about goal setting or New Year's resolutions, because I see lots of people make them, but we can't stick to them for very long. And one of the reasons for this is because you are wishing that it's going to be a goal. So what I'm going to be talking about, I've just read this fantastic book because I was incapacitated with my elbow. So about habits, how to create bad habits. And I know you'll find this hard to believe that I have bad habits around food, and I do. And one of them is chocolate. And one of the things for me is eating chocolate after dinner with a cup of tea. So one of the things you'll learn about habits is you've got to change the behavior that happens with that. So I have been practicing this over the holidays, and instead of having a cup of tea, I've been going for a walk, which is good on many levels, helps with my digestion, does a lot of other things. So it's really important to change your behavior around the habit. So we'll talk more about that this week. So I look forward to sharing that with you. I will still be doing Transformation Tuesdays on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. So I look forward to talking to you about a case study of a client and what simple transitions they've done to help with their digestion, and how that can impact you and what ideas you can take from it. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a fabulous day, everybody, and I'll talk soon. Bye.